wonder what these guys think of Snoop Dogg winning entry into the UK. Write stuff at 5.tv is the address if you fancy emailing us with your thoughts. Cordoza Calvin Broadus Jr., to give him his full name, was banned for life from entering Blighty 3 years ago when he and 5 of his entourage got into a fight in Heathrow after being refused entry to a first-class lounge. 8 officers were injured. Snoop wasn't involved. That's how it suddenly become clear. Though he does, of course, have a string of drugs and weapons convictions in the US. And he was put on the same banned list as Michael Savage, the American DJ who believes gay parents are child abusers, and Omar Bakri Mohammed, who praised the 9/11 hijackers. Now, unlike the United States, a criminal conviction isn't an automatic barrier to entering the UK. It's essentially down to the Home Secretary to decide. Or is it? Because it's been argued that former Home Secretary John Reid's ruling on Snoop infringed his human rights. Now, we used to bar anyone whose crimes would have earned them 2 years prison or more in this country from entering the country. But Jack Straw abandoned that a few years back, which is how come celebrity rapist Mike Tyson managed to get in. And it's ever so complicated how the system works. It used to be that if you came in on a visa, you'd have to apply for the visa, state whether you had a criminal conviction. If it was deemed that conviction would have got 2 years in Britain, you wouldn't get in. But if you came from a country, Steve, where you didn't need a visa, no one would ask you about your criminal conviction, you just walked in. Now we don't have any policy at all, it seems. Are you pleased Snoop Dogg's coming to Britain?
Am I pleased personally?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I worked with him.
No.
I did one of the Orange ads with him.
Yo, respect.
Yeah, he was utterly charming. I wouldn't have any objection to him coming into the country. I think, you know, I mean, look, he does have a string of offences, like a lot of kind of rap and music stars. I mean, there's lots of kind of drug convictions in the past of music stars, and it's been problematic for those people trying to tour either in America or here.
Well, this is the inconsistency, isn't it?
Well, often the amount of money that the show will bring in by those people coming into the country outstrips the threats that they might have.
John Reid at the time said that he felt that if Snoop Dogg did come into the country, the nature of his music and the nature of his fan base would be that it would appeal and possibly incite those at the fringes of the gangster scene.
I know, but well, anyway, I mean, if you listen to a lot of Snoop's stuff for the last 5 years, it's like a living cartoon. I mean, the man is like a living cartoon. The series that he did, the reality show that he did, it is like watching a Hanna-Barbera animation. I mean, I think you've got to be realistic about it, and I think he poses no threat whatsoever. So
no threat whatsoever, Ruthie.
I don't think he's particularly a threat, but I do think let's look at if he was English and going into America.
No chance.
There would be no chance whatsoever.
Unless I don't know, maybe there is a chance, because people with criminal convictions are getting into the US. My brother-in-law isn't, though. He has a criminal conviction from years back, can't get in.
Well, I know people as well had exactly the same experience, and I've been on the receiving end of immigration in New York, having, no record whatsoever, but just being a British person, coming in, and they just want to, do their job.
Yeah.
And it's really humiliating.
Yeah.
And I have no record.
But do you think that colours our view about Americans with criminal convictions coming in here, that they don't treat us so well, so why should we treat them?
I don't know. I think that, when you look at his string of offences, from sort of 1990 to, to now, I think when somebody has that many convictions for drugs and what have you, I think there should be some sort of penalty. I'm not saying they shouldn't allow him into the country, but there is something to be, this guy cannot stay away from a doob or two, and which I'm not.
Yogurt.
Yes. No. Well, I actually see. I'm not. Let's not get into the sort of drugs. Conversation, because that's a totally different thing. But
the drugs might be slightly less than the weapons.
Well, I was going to say he's been caught with weapons and all sorts, and I think that's a bit of a worry.
Lawrence,
weapons are nothing in America. I think we should always make anyone welcome who wears bunches. I think a gentleman of a certain age in bunches is
Still
should
wearing
be...
plaits,
Yeah,
yeah.
still wearing plaits.
Yeah.
I like the fact you said still wearing plaits, like it was acceptable maybe 10 years ago. But now he's a little bit older and should maybe move away from the plait thing.
Not worried about the inciting those on the fringes of...
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, we've been wonderfully ornamented with a series of Home Secretaries that have decided to be extraordinarily hands-on, shall we say, in terms of applying the letter of the law.
Tough on crime.
Tough on rap.
Yes.
Which it strikes me as being very un-British to be quite so judgmental about something like this. The idea that somehow we are so weak that a middle-aged gentleman in plaits is going to incite us to all sorts of unpleasant antisocial behaviour.
OK. It's interesting.
Well, isn't it the thing about being a role model, though, that everyone's a bit, up in arms about?
Maybe. I just remember the outrage when Mike Tyson came over here, and there was plenty of it. But there we go. Is this country going insane? Let Snoop Dogg fly in by plane. Who's got control of Britain's borders? If it's Europe, do you think that's out of order?